Okay, so my name is Erik. I'm an old action coach client from a couple of years ago. I'm from the Netherlands, but I'm in Indonesia already for 20 years, and I started my own business in 2005. We had a very successful business in the telecommunications industry. We had services that we provided to mobile telecommunications operators. And that was a business that we had together with four partners. So I was one of the four partners. And during that business, we were facing constant struggle and constant discussions between the four partners. And at that point in time, we felt like the business was stuck, and we felt like we weren't moving forward. And we felt like that the arguments we were having were really counterproductive and really causing a lot of problems in the business. So at that point in time, we contacted Cynthia and Marvin and got them to come and talk to us. And besides talking to the senior team, we also had sessions with our staff and with the whole organization. But one of the key things that they worked on with us is that if you run a business with four people, and four people are completely different, then it turns out that you have to understand that everyone is different. And during the coaching, we identified that actually, as a matter of fact, all four of us were complete different personality types. And that was the reason why we were constantly in a fight. The one person tried to get the other person to do it his way. Well, that doesn't work. If if one person is a D, the other one is an I, an S, and a C. You have to understand that these people are acting in a different way. And that's what we were taught by the coaches, that look, you guys are all different. But that is actually the reason why you could be a very successful business if you work that out together. So that was actually the main thing that Action Coach helped us with in our business journey, in our mobile telecoms business. Personally, a couple of years later, after this happened, I contacted Cynthia because I felt that in my personal situation, I felt like I was not aligned with my wife on what I wanted to do with my life. And during a couple of coaching sessions with Cynthia in this case, it might not have been a lot or very significant, but what we actually worked on was a long-term plan together. So where do we want to be in 5 years? Where do we want to be in 10 years? And just the facilitation of that discussion, in my personal case, really helped me, and it aligned me and my wife in this case to understand where we were going together. And the funny bit about making these kind of plans for me is, right, I made those plans and I looked back at them maybe a couple of years later. I never really kept them in my in front of my mind all the time. They were just written and they're sort of stored in my mind. But if I then look at these plans and I look at it a couple of years later, a lot of the things that we wrote down on those plans actually had happened. So that was, for me personally, one of the things that I really enjoyed, and I did that together with Cynthia, and we've grown really close because of that. She really helped me with that. If I look at where I am now, today the situation is quite different. We exited this telecoms business in 2011. Wasn't entirely by choice, but there's a whole long story behind that. Why we stopped that business. We were forced by the regulator to stop it. And at that point I went back to sort of the principles that we were taught also during the coaching, and basically thinking about, okay, so what do I want to do next and what's important to me personally? And I think where I am now is that I'm prioritizing my time. Yes, I need to make money somehow and I need to build a business somehow. But for me, more important than that is actually to really be conscious about what I spend my time on today. And that comes first. The business and the money side comes later in my case now. But it doesn't mean that I'm stopping that completely. I still, like anyone else, I need to live and I need to find a way to have an income. But for me, I have really learned to put that as a second priority. The first thing is, what do I want to do with my life? Where do I want to spend my time? I want to spend a lot of time with my family. Last year, I've been traveling for 6 months with my family. I've taken my kids out of school. And that was an amazing experience for me. And I want to continue doing that. And I want to continue being able to do that. And I find myself only able to do that if I prioritize time. If I first decide what I want to spend my time on, then figure out how can I make enough money to live with the time that I have left after I decide that. So that's sort of my new way of looking at life and how how I spend my time and how I build my businesses. I have really changed, I think, in the sense that when I was inside a big company, I come from the corporate world, and then after that I was in various entrepreneurial situations. If you're in the rush of the day, it's very hard to realize what's actually important in life. So coaching, in my case, personal and business, sort of takes you away from that rush for a while and really look at yourself and the world from a distance. And I think for me personally, I'm really almost every day I'm looking at things, okay, am I still doing what I really want to do? Is this really the life I want to have? And if I don't, then I'm changing it. And I think that objective look at your own life and seeing what you can change is really the main thing that changed for me through coaching and through my experience as being a business person.